Hey, what's up? It's your girl Bella. Welcome back to my channel. So I recently posted the top 10 highest paying jobs in Charlotte, North Carolina. In that video, most of those jobs did require a college education, and I was recently asked what are the top paying jobs that do not require a college education. And I feel like that is kind of hard for me to think about because most of the top jobs are going to require you to have some level of schooling past being in college, or either like an advanced certificate if it's like an IT or cybersecurity job, or just some sort of advanced schooling, unless of course like you're Bill Gates or you're Steve Jobs and you own like a major company. You're most likely going to have some degree of schooling to work in a top 10 highest paying job. So instead what I decided to do is I looked up what are the top paying side hustles in Charlotte, North Carolina. Sometimes you want to supplement your income outside of just your regular job, and I myself am into side hustles. I do have a few side businesses, and so I want to share with you all the top side hustles in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you're interested in knowing what they are, keep watching. So the first side hustle is actually one that I participate in all the time, and it is dog sitting. So you can do dog sitting or pet sitting in general in a multitude of ways. I actually use the Rover app, and I want to thank them for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Just kidding. I wish this was sponsored, but no, on a real note, I actually do use Rover to dog sit. Dog sitting is very, very popular in Charlotte because Charlotte is an extremely pet-friendly city. There are so many dogs in the city. It's super pet-friendly. I think it probably has to do with the fact that it is a younger age demographic. It's like young professionals. The average age here is 30, so a lot of people have dogs. If you're okay with dog sitting, cat sitting, I would recommend using either Rover or Wag. I've only used Rover, so I can't speak for Wag, but the way the app works is you can do dog sitting in your own home, dog sitting in their home, as well as cat sitting. You can do dog walking, you can include pickup and drop off as well. What I do personally is I only do dog sitting in my own home. I'm not comfortable going to other people's houses, so I don't watch people's dogs in their homes, and I only do dogs, I don't do cats. So I do dog sitting in my home. I will offer a round trip pickup and drop off if they need that for an additional fee. And I don't do dog walking just because I feel like for me, by the time I drive all the way over there, I don't feel like it's worth the money in my personal opinion. So I only do dog sitting in my home. You can make limitations on the app in terms of what kind of pets you want. So I personally only do dogs that are up to 40 pounds. So you can have weight restrictions. You can also add like grooming options. If you know how to groom dogs, you can add that to your profile. You do that for them for an additional fee. Yeah, I like using Rover. I've probably watched at least 10 dogs on that app, and I've only had a bad experience really with 2 of them. There are probably like 3 dogs that I would not watch again. One, which I recently had, like I very bad experience with. But I will say overall the dogs tend to be pretty good. The owners have a nice profile about them. You can give them update photos and videos on a daily basis, and you also have the option to receive a tip on the app. And the amount that the Rover app takes out from your earnings is actually not too high, which is cool. And of course you can customize, and holiday pay is higher. So I think Rover is a pretty great way to make money as a side hustle in Charlotte, or just honestly any form of pet sitting. The next is any sort of freelance work. So if you are a graphic designer, an interior designer, if you're good at marketing, sales, whatever, that is another industry where you can make money in Charlotte as a side hustle. So you could use Upwork, Fiverr, I think there's another one called Freelancer. Is it called Freelancer? Yep, Freelancer. And those are great ways to get clients. If you don't have any clients already, you can upload a profile on there, show off your work, and then people can find you through the app based off of your work and your price range. People will be able to find you. And you can do like pretty much anything on there. I honestly plan on using one of these services not to promote my work necessarily, but I do want to get a video editor because this is such a tangent, but I'm so nitpicky when it comes to editing my videos. It takes me forever to do because I'm such a perfectionist, but it takes a lot of time, and I honestly want to make that someone else's responsibility and pay them for it. So I do plan on using one of these apps soon to find someone who can do freelancing for me. So if you are talented in any form of freelancing, I would definitely say that that is another good side hustle here in Charlotte. And then also like handy, if you're into handy things, you can go on there for moving, helping people with moving. People move here all the time. I think 80 to 100 people currently move here a day. So if you are good with handyman work or with moving, handy's great. Brooklyn, my roommate, has actually found someone on Handy who's helped her do a lot of stuff including moving, and we used him to help do some of our moving when we moved here outside of the app. So another great side hustle. Next is renting out your space. So Charlotte, like I said, is a booming city. A lot of people are moving here now. And if you have an extra space, an extra room, an extra whatever, renting it out can be a great source of additional income. I actually used to know someone who lives in a house and rents out 2 of the rooms to travel nurses. So that's a great way to make some additional income if you are okay with having other people live in your house with you. Of course, you may have to vet them a bit. I don't know anything about having someone live in my own house with me, but I would say I definitely recommend this if you have like a separate space, like a separate home, a separate condo, townhome, whatever, apartment, then you could rent it out to people. Or if you are okay with living with pretty much random roommates, then and you own a home, then you can also rent out a room to someone. That's another way you could make some side income and also reduce your expenses. The next is event or party planning. If you know how to host events or parties, that's another great way to make some extra cash in Charlotte. There are always events going on here, whether it's corporate events, parties, weddings, and party planners and event planners are very important, especially because the city is growing and people are always trying to show off new restaurants, new this, new that. So if you know how to host events, you can definitely make a nice little income here. The next is just tutoring or teaching. Where there are adults, there are also children. So if you are really good at a certain subject and you like working with minors, then you could definitely do some tutoring or teaching on the side in any subject. Math, English, science, doesn't really matter, but you could also promote your services and make a nice side income that way. Some different platforms you can use are Wyzant and Varsity Tutors. You can find some future clientele through both of those apps. I've not used them personally because I don't do tutoring, but that's another great side hustle. Next is renting out your car. So renting out your car is another great way to make side income. I feel like a lot of people are getting put onto this with apps like Turo. If you have an extra vehicle, you can post it on Turo, or there's probably some other ones you can use too. I only know about Turo though. You could post your car in there and just have people rent it out the same way they rent out a car on Hertz or Dollar Rental. They just use your car. I think people prefer using Turo because you can kind of get nicer cars at a bit of a better rate, and there's more variety for the cars. And because Charlotte is growing and people are coming to the city now just to visit and to hang out, you can make a good amount of money using Turo. And again, this is a way to not only increase your income, you could also reduce your expenses, because if you have enough people renting out your car, it can probably cover your car note as well as maybe even your insurance that you pay. So another great side hustle if you have more than one car. If I had more than one car, I would absolutely be using Turo. But yeah, definitely something that you might want to check out. Next is photography. I feel like photographers can do well in a variety of locations, and Charlotte is not an exception. Photographers are great if you want to just sell your prints online, if you want to sell them in a studio, if you want to sell them to realtors. There's a lot of great ways to make money with photography here in Charlotte. I know my roommate Brooklyn, she actually works for a photographer as one of her like side incomes, so she helps her with her prints and all those things. And I know the photographer makes bank, like 7 figures bank. So you definitely can make money with photography if you really have a creative eye, you know how to market your skills well, and you know who your clientele is. And then last but not least is the classic ride sharing and delivery services. So I'm talking about DoorDash, Uber Eats, Uber, Lyft, even Fetch for packages. Any sort of like ride sharing and delivery service is another way to make money. I have not personally ever made money on those apps, but I have a friend who used to do, I believe, Lyft, and he made a decent amount of money each month doing Lyft on the side, especially because Lyft, and I think Uber too, sometimes will have bonuses. Like if you hit a certain amount of rides in a certain time frame, you can do a bonus. There are bonuses during certain times of the day. So those are another way you can make money. And then also people are always ordering food. People are always ordering Lyfts and Ubers, especially on weekends. So if you're willing to not go out for a certain weekend or not hang out with friends all night long, then you could definitely get in your car, make some extra cash, and if you have really good service, you might get a tip. Alright, so those are just 8 of the top paying side hustles here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let me know in the comments down below if you are surprised by any of these. Do any of these shock you? Did you expect to see these? And also let me know if you plan on doing any of these side hustles or if you already are familiar with them. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope it was helpful to at least one of you. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all in my next video. Bye!